This morning we've got the StuG III Gearbox bootleg edition. I thought I'd shoot a bit of footage to give you a bit of an idea of what sort of goes on behind the scenes, show you a few things that we're doing prior to assembly of the transmission. Been checking a lot of stuff on the transmission casings. I've identified that this spot here that normally takes a screw-in stud has got a problem with the thread which is cut into the casing. What I'll be attempting today is to actually do a thread repair on it. Let's have a bit of a look-see. The issue is that as you get towards the lower part of the thread, it's sort of disappeared off the inside of it. If we go down a bit further, see all those shiny bits at the bottom there? They're probably all the chips and pieces of the thread that's come off. I'll have a bit of a dig around in here with the screwdriver. Yeah, so there's the chips and pieces of the thread. So the thread is not happy. Spray a bit of solvent inside it. Using compressed air and a rag to try and catch as much of the crud as possible, I'll blow it out. Definitely needs to be fixed. Yeah, so it's all cleaned out. We can see that there's no damage at the bottom of the hole. It's what we call a blind hole, so it doesn't go through to the other side. It's all cleaned out nicely. Now it's a case of starting on the thread repair. We've actually got examples of what they did back in the day where they needed to improve the strength of the thread or repair a bad thread. So what we've got here is a machined metal bush that's threaded both on the inside and outside, and they screw it into the aluminium housing and then stake it into place. So that's really cool. I've never actually seen that before. You can see it from the back here where they've got quite a large coarse thread with the insert installed in it. Now that's what they did back in the day. What we've now got is the ability to actually put a high strength stainless steel insert into the aluminium casing by drilling it oversized and re-tapping it with a special thread. About to start on the first part of the process, and that's drilling the hole oversized. I've marked the depth at which it stops. Then as a further bit of insurance, I'm putting this piece of rubber hose over here to help me control the drill as it gets close to the depth that I want to drill. I probably should consider looking for a new job if I bugger this casing up, so no pressure. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to stop part of the way, clean out some of the chips. There we go. While this is a little bit easier to get going than what the drilling process is, it's still got to be started straight. That looks about right. This gives you a good example of what I was sort of taught in terms of the technique for re-tapping a thread. So you advance the thread tap clockwise to cut out a new section of thread, and then you go back anti-clockwise, and that helps break off the pieces that you've cut into smaller bits, which then fall in between the flutes of the thread tap. You really know you've got a good thread cut too when you can screw the tap out by hand like this. It looks really good. It's really good. There's a tiny bit of swarf that's still in there which I'll get out, but I'm pretty happy with that. Once we've inserted the coil into the oversized hole, it then creates a thread which is exactly the right diameter and thread pitch to match the M14x2 thread that the original stud uses. This is another part of the process where things can go horribly wrong if you don't get the coil inserted accurately. The action of inserting the coil actually pulls the coil a little bit undersized, which winds in really easily, but if you try and go back the other way, it actually forces the coil out, digs it into the side of the thread. So it's a one-time only deal. The coil has started properly in the thread and it's going in nicely. If at any point in the process here, if it jams up, yeah, like I said, I'm in a world of hurt. It's going in nice and easy, and I'm not having to put a lot of force on this to get it to screw into the oversized thread. Okay, so that's bottomed out there like that, which means that the coil has been inserted into the depth that I wanted for it. Righto, so that's nice. Coil's gone in well. They make it so there's a little weak spot there. Move it back on itself a little bit, and then you give it a firm sort of a whack to break the tang off, and then the thread should be good to go. So if it doesn't break off cleanly and it knocks the coil out of the bottom of the thread, it's not going to work. So the tool is sitting on that tang. Give it a whack. I should be able to confirm that the tang has come out, and look at that sitting at the bottom. So the tang has come off nice and cleanly and it's sitting there in the bottom. We'll take that out. Alright, she's gone. Now for the big test. Alright, so that's snugged up really well. So that's how you rethread a piece of priceless, irreplaceable mid-40s German engineering. As hard as it is to believe, but as long as you've cut the oversized thread properly and you've inserted the coil in correctly, you'll actually end up with a threaded join there that'll be far stronger than the original one that was just cut into the aluminium directly. So there you go, that's how you do it.